Welcome to the part 2 of this chapter, sound from class 8 of physics. So first chapter we have talked about frequency, pitch, okay, then wavelength, crest, throw, and what is sound we have known. What is sound energy also we have known. Now we'll talk here about, we know that sound is produced to us, that a very pleasant sound is produced to us through what? The musical instruments, isn't it? So let's see. Musical instruments. Instruments which produce different musical notes are called musical instruments. Okay. So there are many different types of musical instruments, and many our musicians are there that those they use to play the music. Some are instruments producing sounds with help of strings, instruments producing sounds with the help of membrane, and instruments producing sounds with the help of wind. Okay? Wind, strings, membrane. So what are these? Why we are saying about instruments producing sounds with strings, membrane and wind? What are those? We will go to it step by step, one after another. So let's start with the stringed instruments. String instruments make use of a string or wire to produce vibrations and sound. I think with the diagram, means the picture, you have understood what are the string instruments, isn't it? So these instruments have the stretched strings, and the vibration and different length of the strings produce musical notes with a different pitch. All will have different pitch. If it has some low pitch, we have studied in the part 1, that if there is low pitch, low frequency, high pitch, high frequency. Okay, so these instruments contain a sounding box always, okay, that vibrates at the same frequency when stretched and intensity of the sound increases. Okay, and always remember the sitar. Have you seen in the below there is the sitar, isn't it? The shorter the length of the wire, the higher the pitch it produces always. If the wire has shorter length, then the pitch will be higher. So these are the string instruments. I think you all have your favorite musicians also, isn't it? So next we'll talk about the membrane or the drum instruments. Let's start. Membrane or drum instruments. Drum instruments have stretched membranes that are generally made of leather. So it is made of leather, this instruments, okay. So these has what? Musical notes are produced by vibrating this such types of the membranes. In tabla you can see, in the upper part, that is made of leather. This is the stretched membrane, means it is fixed in the musical instrument, okay. So your pitch depends on the surface area of the membrane. If here the surface area of the membrane is large, then the pitch will be low, and if the surface area of the membrane is low, then the pitch will be high. So this is a difference in the membrane or the drum instruments. One more instruments is there. Let's see. This is what? The wind instruments. So wind instruments are made of long and hollow pipes with a number of holes drilled. I think you have seen. Okay. The flute we have seen. Generally we have seen the flute, isn't it? So there are many things. Clarinet, then cornet, flute, French horn, okay, saxophone, then trombone, trumpet, tuba. So these all are wind instruments. They have some holes, it is drilled there. And it uses the principle of vibrating the air column to produce the sound. The wind is always blown in from one end of the instrument, and the musical notes are produced by changing the length of the air column through the opening and closing of the holes. I think you have seen in the flute, no? It just close, and with the fingers we close and open it, and then it produces the sound, isn't it? So your frequency is varied by changing the length of the vibrating air column. This is about the wind instruments. And next we have to study one term, that is the what? Monotone. Okay, this is the monotone. So what is monotone? Monotone refers to a sound which is single tone and does not vary. When there is no rise or fall, it is known as the monotone. Okay. This is pitch, okay? It is known as the monotone. So all the audio signals we hear, isn't it? All are mixed together and it is routed through the single audio channel to create the monotone. And these things that produce a monotone are a classed mono speed cluster system and also distributed loudspeaker system. These all have the monotone. Okay, student? So about musical instruments and monotone we have studied here. So next one more part of this chapter is there. That part we will talk about the loudness, the noise pollution. We will talk about that. Okay. So till then, take care all of you. Thank you.